Let's quickly take this comparison between plant and animal cells. Let's look very closely here. So we have, first of all, we have the nucleus. Right, so the nucleus, both plants and animal cells have nucleus. What's the function of the nucleus? The nucleus controls cell growth and reproduction, and the nucleus stores the genetic material. So this is the cell's nucleus. This is the cell's nucleus. Here, the genetic material is stored, and of course, it controls the activities of the cell growth and reproduction. How the cell grow and reproduce is controlled by the nucleus because it contains the genetic material that has all the information to carry out all of the cellular activities. Now we look at the mitochondria. So both plant and animal cells have mitochondria. This is the structure of the mitochondria. This is the structure of the mitochondria, right? It's red one, the mitochondria. So what's the function of the mitochondria? Mitochondria generates energy for the cell. We consider the mitochondria to be like the powerhouse, the plant, like the generator house where electricity, power, okay, just like the powerhouse of the cell, it generates energy for the cell to utilize for its functions. So now we look at the Golgi apparatus. Both plant and animal cells have Golgi apparatus or Golgi body. What's the function of the Golgi apparatus? It modifies proteins, sorts proteins, and packages proteins and lipids. So when proteins are produced, this Golgi apparatus modifies them and packages them, prepares them to be exported out of the cell to the sites where they are needed. Okay, so we have the plasma membrane. The plasma membrane is also known as the cell membrane. So the plasma membrane is like the protective structure here that protects the cell, like the gate of the cell through which materials enter and leave the cell. So it is semi-permeable. It can allow certain materials into the cell, and it can also allow certain materials out of the cell. Both plant and animal cells have cell membrane or plasma membrane. Then we have endoplasmic reticulum, the ER. So the ER are two. We have the smooth ER and the rough ER. The smooth ER does not have ribosomes. So the smooth ER synthesizes lipids and also stores proteins. Okay, it does not have ribosomes. That is why it is smooth. In a subsequent video, we will be explaining with a more detailed diagram where we see the diagram, the structure of the organelles one after the other. We explain it better. So the smooth ER does not have ribosomes scattered around it. That's why it is smooth, and it synthesizes lipids, and then it also stores proteins. While the rough ER, the name rough, it has ribosomes scattered throughout it, and this rough ER synthesizes proteins because ribosomes synthesize proteins. So the ribosomes around it synthesize proteins. So it helps the ribosomes to synthesize proteins, and it also helps in the transport of these proteins out of the cell. Then we have the ribosomes. The ribosomes make proteins. So both plant and animal cells have ribosomes because both plant and animal cells make proteins. Now, these are some differences here. We have small or no vacuole in animal cells. They have smaller vacuole. And then in plant cells, we have large vacuole. See the central vacuole. You can see it here. The central vacuole is large. And then plant cells have chloroplast. This chloroplast is a structure where photosynthesis is carried out. So we see it here. The chloroplast is structure here, an organelle where photosynthesis is carried out. So food is made inside of this structure, this organelle, through the presence of sunlight. Food is made here for the plant's use. And then the plant cell also has cell wall. The animal cell does not have cell wall, so it also has cell wall. Apart from the cell membrane, the plant cell also has a rigid cell wall made of cellulose, but the animal cell does not have cell wall. The animal cell have centroids and centrosomes. These centroids help during cell division. These centroids are what form the the fibers. You know, when before cells divide, cells are pushed. The contents of the cell are pushed to the opposite poles. So these centroids help to form that fiber that drags the content of the cell towards the opposite. So for example, in the case of meiosis and mitosis, so the chromosomes, remember the chromosomes are pushed towards the poles. So these centroids form that matrix, form that fiber, that the tubules that enable these contents or the chromosomes to be pulled towards opposite poles. And then flagella. Some animal cells have flagella. Flagella is just like an appendage that enable cells to move, like the sperm cell. You know, the sperm cell has flagella like this. So flagella is this appendage, this structure that enables the cell to move, to swim. Hope this helps you. Stay with us. For next, we'll be having more videos to explain cell organelles one after another. Explain them in detail. Thank you for watching and keep following.